Okay, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Hope you had a good lunch. To kick off this afternoon, I must tell you first and foremost that it's going to be done at a very fast pace. So I hope that you will enjoy it. And if you stay on, you might even win a luxury watch. See the things we do, lah. Just to get people into the room. Come on, lah. Anyway, more on that later. During the course of putting together the speakers for this particular day, I experimented with the idea of talking to a guy who's a computer hacker, just for fun. But the more I spoke to him, the more scary it got. And I told him that, I want you to come and talk to these media professionals. They're talking about metrics and mutrics and all that. So can you please come and terrify them? He agreed. In fact, this gentleman is so well known in his circle, of course. He was challenged by a huge corporation to break down into the firewall many years ago. So I think he did that in about 20 hours. And after that, he got hired by MDEC. So ladies and gentlemen, Dinesh Nair is also known as Alfik or Alfaq or okay. That's his nickname. Can I have the screen? Can I have the screen, please? And well, anyway, you can laugh now, you'll be terrified very soon. He's the Guy Kawasaki of Malaysia. He's the man you hire when everything fails. The techie is techie. Give it up for Dinesh Nair.
Hi, good afternoon. It's always tough coming up just after lunch because most people just want to go sleep, right? And I think as Ham told you, there were times when I would never speak or at least wear a mask because there'd be enough cops in the room waiting to bust my ass. But today I work for the government and I've switched on to the other side. So before you guys leave, I need your names, addresses, and IC numbers, please. Right, but before we go into what's out there, we're here talking about digital media. You guys are approaching it from reaching the customer's phase. You see it as a distribution channel. But a lot has gone behind it. Okay. A lot has gone behind it, right? If you think about how some of these technologies evolved, they actually evolved through military technologies from the 50s. And then the space program in the US. And then in the 70s, the banks got involved and started investing in IT, which then drove all these things, the internet and everything else just came out of that. The innovation respond through all of that. But now think about it. In 1969, right? We sent man to the moon with all the power which sits in your iPhone today. Yeah, the computing power it took to send man to the moon, you carry in your pocket in your iPhone today. And what do you use it for? You launch birds at pigs. Well done. But it is not a bad thing in the end of the day because not just Angry Birds, but a whole lot of other games, apps, software, both for business, for fun, for learning, all sits on your phone and your tablets. The paradigm of how we approach computing is no longer a keyboard and a PC anymore. You carry it with you, right? And this happens because the internet. The internet today connects more people than ever before, and it's doubling every couple of years. Right? You'll eventually hit a point. We've done our calculations, and we figure that at this present rate, by 2019, the internet should be everywhere on Earth where there is a human. We're not sure about the jungles of Amazon or some parts of Africa yet, but we're getting there. Right? So this connectivity, this explosion of connections between people, between businesses, between companies, companies to people, people to companies, has allowed us to actually now start talking to each other. I mean, you all recognize the logos on the board, Google, Yahoo, Google Talk, and all of that. Today, it's Facebook and Twitter. Every couple of years, we are creating new technologies for people to connect. And why is that a bad thing for you guys? Because this connection is happening faster. And as people involved in the media landscape, You're losing control over this. You no longer control your brand. You no longer control your customers' brands. Who controls it? Anybody with a Twitter account. Right? How many of you are on Twitter, at least in the Malaysian landscape? It's a fair amount of hands. What do you think happens on Twitter? You see a whole lot of bitching about politicians. Right? Any politician worth his salt is trying to get on Twitter. There have been only two, at least from the BN side, who have done it very well. And probably about 3 or 4 on the other side. I'm going to give one for my bosses up there, okay? 3 or 4 on the other side have got it well, but very few actually know how to use Twitter. Why? Because Twitter is interactive. It's not one way anymore. It's two-way. You have to converse. You have to be interactive. And you're suddenly open to all these things being asked of you. Mistakes being pointed out. Hard questions being asked. Because of this convergence. Convergence of devices. We carry smartphones, which are computers. We carry tablets, which are phones. And the desktop you have is a doorstop. Right? Nothing else you can use it for. We are mobile. We are everywhere. As media professionals, you're used to having a very captive audience. You're used to advertise through TV, through cinema, newspapers. A captive audience. Somebody sitting in front of a TV isn't moving anywhere. Somebody sitting to watch a movie isn't moving anywhere. You've got him for the next 2 hours. Right? You put up huge billboards on highways. Why? So people like me got something to see when we're stuck in traffic. Right? But that's a captive audience. You reached your customer because you knew where he was at a particular point of time. But how do you do that today? Because people aren't there anymore. They are wherever their phones are. They sit within those phones. They live on the internet. They live on the net. Right? Somebody who's looking at something, maybe at home, he may be outside, he may be at work, and maybe even at a conference. Right? How many of you are actually tapping out Twitter or Facebook right now? Come on. Be honest. Right? See? You could be anywhere. So much so that entire new virtual worlds have erupted. Right? This is Second Life. Who's heard of Second Life before? Perverts. But we all know what happens in Second Life, huh? Right? But not just Second Life. There's probably another example which you're more used to, more familiar with. Farmville. Okay, I hate Farmville requests. But I get an average of about 30 any given day. Right? And some of them are really friendship-ending requests, right? Okay, so think about it. We started off from being an agrarian society, parents who were farmers and all of that. They worked hard so we could go to university and do something else. And what do we do when we graduate? We go back to farming. Okay, and we don't even make $250 million from this. What's the point? People do it for a whole lot of different reasons. So much so that there's even a new language being created to explain this. Right? I mean, this is just one, and you've heard many acronyms and abbreviations. Right? So this is a whole new culture, a whole new way of doing things, a whole new way of looking at things. Are we in any position to even control it? Can you even try to control it? Right? But at the same time, this explosion of connectivity, this explosion of technology, innovation, is generating a hell of a lot of money down there. I mean, look at that, $17 trillion. That's the size of the digital economy in 2009. Who knows what it is today? Right? But what I'd like you to look at is the number at the bottom right-hand corner, 7.3 billion. That was spent on virtual goods. I'm not talking about e-commerce, mind you, I'm talking about virtual goods. The stuff you buy in your iPad games, something you can't touch. The extra cow you buy on Farmville. Right, that extra piece of armor you buy in Mafia Wars or any one of those iPad or iPhone games. Right, so people are now willing to pay money for things which don't exist. They're just bits, right? Which is a dream for people like me because, hey, we can just generate this stuff and sell them to you, right? But it's also a market which you need to capture. It's also a market which you need to look at. Because in this space where people's attention have moved into something else, as media people, how do you get them? Right? And what threat do they pose to you? Because you no longer can promise these people to your customers anymore. You can't. You don't own them anymore. They don't listen to you anymore. Many times, they can reach your customers directly. Right? So you guys have probably got yourselves all out of the job, and you can form long lines outside welfare. So maybe you should talk to Ham, right? The next conference should be, I used to be a media professional. What do I do today? But seriously, in Malaysia, right? Numbers are the same. Okay, we are seeing the same trends even in Malaysia. Our broadband penetration is rather high and increasing. Okay, I got asked the question about why mobile penetration is 124%. What that actually means is that there's more SIM cards in circulation than there are people. Okay, it does not mean that everybody has a phone. Obviously, there's some parts of the population who still don't have the phone, but then a lot of us have 2 phones or 3 phones in many cases. Sometimes we don't realize it. You have a phone with a SIM card, and you also have an iPad with a SIM card with just a data connection. Facebook's another thing which freaked us out when we saw the numbers. The weird thing is, we are the 3rd highest per capita nation on Facebook. And we have the 2nd highest number of friends. The average person on Facebook has 235 friends. I don't even know if you've got that many friends in real life. What's this thing which drives us to go get all these friends, right? And what kind of environment does it create? So, in 1 minute on the internet, you see all these things happening. And look at the amount of traffic which is being transferred, right? 639 gigabytes. To put that in perspective, that's 160,000 thumb drives. 160,000 thumb drives moving left and right across the planet. That's a whole lot of data. Okay, there's more video uploaded every minute, 30 hours of video. So you basically will never be able to watch all the video on the internet, even if we started today. 30 hours of video are uploaded every minute. But this isn't a pointer, right? Oh, it is. Ah, yes, I like this. But look at these numbers. You're seeing 135 botnet infections. Okay, I'll tell you what botnets are later. You're also seeing 20 new victims of identity theft, also happening every minute. And these numbers are lowballed, because half the time when something like this happens, nobody reports it. So I can only tell you the numbers which have been reported. A lot of times it just goes unknown. So I'm willing to bet that the actual numbers are 4 times this. And this is what's happening out here right now. So, what's a hacker? Right? This is the best definition I've ever gotten. And to be honest, it came out of Malaysia. Okay, because it actually covers both the aspects of what a hacker actually is. Traditionally, Traditionally, we see a hacker as somebody who does this. Right? A guy who breaks into your stuff, right? Steals your data, makes you look bad, posts naked pictures of you online. Who has naked pictures online? Give me the URL, I'd love to look at it. But the more intellectual definition of what a hacker is somebody who just loves exploring. He loves exploring the computer systems. He loves poking through things. He loves, poking through things in many ways. Taking things apart just to see how they work, to understand them. And in that process, yes, he will find security loopholes. He'll find vulnerabilities. He'll find exploits, which depending on his bend, he may use either to prove a point, or he may use for malicious or commercial purposes. Right? So there's been a lot of, shall we say, stereotyping around what a hacker is. I mean, generally, right, we think a hacker is what? A nerdy teenage guy, social misfit, doesn't have a girlfriend, watches porn and wanks off at home, technically competent. Okay, and of late, we're seeing the word hacker being associated with terrorism, which brings in a whole new shadowy angle to it all. So in other words, you go ask the average person in the street what a hacker looks like. They're going to say, it looks like this guy. Right? We don't look like that. Okay? So what's a hacker then? Okay? A hacker is an average person. Okay? Age ranges from anything from 15, 16, all the way up to 60 or 70. The oldest hacker I know who's still practicing is 74. Right? He'll be coming to Malaysia towards the end of the year, but he's 74, and you got everything in between, right? They're normal guys. Could be people you sit next door to on the bus or the LRT. They're also very socially competent, right? So they do get laid, they do have girlfriends. But at the same time, you also have hackers who are not really hackers. They just know how to use software to pretend to hack. We call those guys script kiddies. But more often than not, when a hacker does what he does it for his ego. Right? Yes, there are some who do it for the money, but many do it for their ego. They want to show off. They want to tell the next guy, hey, look at this, I hacked into this website. right? And the bigger the customer, the bigger the target, the greater the ego. So as hackers, we think we look like this. Hey, I mean, how many of you really know that she actually acted in a movie called Hackers? Well, who watched that movie? There you go. Right? First time I ever saw her, fell in love with the woman from the first day. Perfect. So, pictures of what some hackers look like. Right? This comes from an actual security conference held in Malaysia. Yes, you got the standard guys who are sitting behind a computer, bathed in the deep blue glow of a computer screen. But see, we got women too, and they ain't pretty bad looking either, eh? Right? And they look just like everybody, you and me. And they like to party, and drink, and get laid. So ladies, the next time you see a lonely hacker out there, take him home. He will give you free internet, at the least. But seriously, right? How many of you have heard of Anonymous and what's been happening over the last year and a half? Okay, great. Anonymous is the latest hacker collective to hit us, right? They were unorganized, but they had a very specific mission. They were defending WikiLeaks. And they went after targets which they saw as attacking WikiLeaks. Some US government targets, the Bank of America, and a couple of other targets like that. Anonymous is the quintessential hacker collective, and they're just one of many. When I was doing this in the mid-80s, there used to be two hacker collectives, the Legion of Doom and the Masters of Deception, right? And that was one major hacker war, which we have not yet seen here. But these are guys who, like I said, they're driven by ego. Okay, some of them, yes, they break into banks, they break into your accounts for commercial reasons. They want to phish you, they want to steal money from you, they want to trick you into giving them your usernames and passwords. But a lot of times, they're driven by a whole bunch of other things. In Anonymous' case, it was a mission, activism. They believed in a cause, a passion, and they went out for it. Why do you guys have to worry about it? What if your clients were on Anonymous' target? And remember, they went for the FBI, and the FBI couldn't stop them. Of course, 8 months later, the FBI arrested a whole bunch of them and chucked their butts in ass, right? But did they get the right guys? We still don't know. We still don't know. And the way hacker collectives work is, while they have leaders at any point of time, the real leaders could be unknown, or a new leader could come up and take up somebody else's role. Closer to Malaysia, a few years back, we had the hacker war between Malaysian hackers and Indonesia over a political issue, the Ambalat oil fields. But the targets weren't either government, nor was it government sanctioned. Targets were businesses on both sides of the Straits of Malacca, I guess. Right? It could hit anywhere at any point of time. It's not just hackers you have to worry about, right? Identity theft. Somebody pretending to be someone and tricking you doing something. How many of you have received phishing emails telling you to log into your online bank to change a password or whatever? That's a phishing trick. Okay, the idea is for you to trick you into going to a fake website where you accidentally disclose your username and password, which is then used to go withdraw stuff from that. That same trick can be used to access a content management system. Right? If your clients or the companies you're consulting for have a content management system with some company, commercial, product, data, whatever, somebody could trick a competitor, evil competitor, who would hire me, talk to me about my rates afterwards, but who could hire me, log into your client's portal and change information. Right? Not just a defacement, change information so much so that you don't even realize it's been changed until you really take a really good look at it. So these are things you need to look at. Okay? You guys are big on social media, I know that. Everybody's talking about how to make something go viral. Right? These are the good reasons why something goes viral. But there are also bad reasons why something goes viral. Half the time, something goes viral because it's exciting. It's not covered by the mainstream. Okay, on the internet, people have this very, shall we say, sadistic streak. They like passing on the misery of people. And things like that go viral very, very fast. The last recent viral thing I saw just this morning was this drunk guy singing Bohemian Rhapsody at the back of a police car. How many have seen it so far? Right? You'll soon see it. It's going to go viral. And it's very embarrassing for this guy. I'd love to sit down and talk to him when he gets out of jail and is stone cold sober. At the same time, errors could happen internally with the agency as well. right? When you have employees and staff who have their own private Twitter accounts or Facebook accounts or whatever, errors have happened. You know how many times just a simple mistake, tweeting a personal message on a company account, it's an error, it wasn't even malicious, but it can really look bad. Right? The other more well-known case is the one which happened to the Red Cross, when an employee of the agency who was managing the Red Cross Twitter account actually tweeted while piss-ass drunk. Right? It was a simple mistake, a drunken mistake which any one of us could have made. But on the wrong account, came out looking really bad. And when shit like that happens, this is what you guys look like. Right? A shocked mouse caught in headlights, because you don't know how to deal with it. Right? And there's no way to deal with it. That's the real answer, unfortunately. You have to prevent it from happening. You have to prevent it from happening. You have to look at security from all angles. Security is a process. It's not something you can put in place and walk away. It's a process through every step of the way, because you guys all deal with information. And don't think of security as just the tech guy who's out there configuring your firewall or your antivirus or whatever. Right? Security is a process in each day of your job. You all deal with information. Commercial information, product information, messaging you want to put out for your clients. At the end of the day, it's information. And a hacker could come in, change that information, and totally turn something around on its head. As we move into the future, what's going to happen? The next big thing is the Internet of Things. Today we're talking of people talking to people, or people talking to websites. The next big thing is going to be devices talking to devices, machines talking to machines, without human intervention. Google's already starting to do this. They've already built a car which drives by itself without a driver. The car talks to sensors in the road and sensors in gantries and drives itself. They've already proved it once by having a blind person sit in the car. No intervention from the human at all. The car drove itself pretty well. Houses are beginning to do that. Right? They all offer options of new media for you to go play with. But they also create new vectors for hackers, new vectors for security breaches. The interface of how we interact with machines, how we interact with our computers will change. Right? Soon you won't even need a device. Right? Just laser light and sensors sensing where your hands are, you can make a call just using your hand. And this is real technology, mind you. This is not science fiction. This is actually being developed at MIT today. Right? It's a technology called Sixth Sense. It's still in research, but they're commercializing it pretty soon. So when we come to this connected world of the matrix, when everything is connected, when machines are connected to machines, people are connected to people, people are connected to companies, companies to companies, in every possible combination, right? What exactly are you going to do? How are you going to handle this? So when you have to come to make that choice, are you going to take the red pill or are you going to take the blue pill? So having said that, how many of you actually stood there to hear me insult you? Thank you very much.
A round of applause for Dinesh Nair, Head of Industry Cluster at MDEC. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, now we're going to go into a very quick hour. It's like a roller coaster ride. I think it's good for us every once in a while to get a quick snapshot of what the other players in the digital world are doing. So for that reason, we have invited people like Yahoo, people from Google, Facebook, Says.com, and Spur Press in a rapid fire session of 7 minutes each. Okay? So this is the first time we're doing it, so let's see what happens. Okay, first up, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome on stage from Yahoo Malaysia, John Key, Country Ambassador and Sales Director for Yahoo Malaysia. Thank you.
I can use this, right? I don't like standing behind the podium. Hi, my name is John. 7 minutes, that's all I have, so I'm going to jump right in, right? Let me do a 7-second recap of today. We talked about research, we talked about big data, we talked about 2016, which is the future. We talk about video and how the lines are blurring between digital and TV, right? And of course, we talk about hacking, which was kind of scary. So I can't imagine, like, especially I know there are quite a lot of creative people in the room today, how this can be a little bit overwhelming. So I want to bring us to today, down back to earth just for a little while. So I want to talk about Yahoo's world today, or should I say your world today. Yahoo today creates deeply personal digital experiences. And let me share with, like, we do social, we do search, we have Flickr, we do mobile, and premium content. So you are very used to seeing things like that, right? Yahoo movies, which you consume, lifestyle, sports. Euro 2012 is coming. We're doing something else huge around that as well, right? OMG, celebrity news. I can go on and on. We do branded content, wonderful stuff with people like Unilever, right? A Beautiful You, where it doesn't talk about their brand, it talks about you, right? And somehow Unilever's involved. Of course, it's still going on, Axiata Cup. So let me just share with you something special here. What do all these contents have to do with you today? Each day, if you realize, if you come into Yahoo homepage, right, it actually talks to you personally. Whether you're a guy, you're a girl, whatever age you are, whatever interest that you have as well, as you can see. On both sides, right? So right now, this is just to help you visualize what's happening in Yahoo globally. Right, we do this in Malaysia as well. And this is what guys are reading today. I'm not surprised, techie stuff, Darth Vader stuff, sport.